Most businesses dream of having the problem of growing too fast. But what happens when that dream actually becomes an operational nightmare? Well, today we're going to break down how one company, Postgame, used a completely new kind of AI workforce to solve a massive, massive scaling crisis. So just think about this for a second. Your whole business relies on a network of 60,000 different people. They all need your support, they all have questions, and they need answers fast. How on earth do you give every single one of them personal attention without hiring an absolute army of staff? That was the exact challenge staring Postgame right in the face. And to really get why this was such a big deal, you first have to understand just how successful Postgame is. I mean, they aren't some small startup. They are quite literally in a league of their own. We are talking about a gigantic network of over 60,000 college athletes. And what Postgame does is connect these influencers with huge global brands. Think Adidas, think Microsoft for major marketing campaigns. It's an incredibly successful operation. But you know how it goes. With all that success came a really serious problem. Their growth wasn't just fast, it was completely explosive. And their team, as talented as they were, was starting to hit a wall, a hard wall. Their whole operational model was just about to snap. All that pressure really exposed three major cracks in their foundation. First, just handling the thousands and thousands of questions from athletes for every single campaign. Second, they had to analyze the sentiment of tens of thousands of social media comments to prove the campaigns were working. And third, they had to make sure every single post met these super strict brand guidelines. Each one of these tasks was blowing up into a full-time job for multiple people. To give you a sense of the scale, for just one campaign, the team had to manually sift through over 40,000 Instagram comments. I mean, can you imagine reading, categorizing, and then reporting on every single one of those by hand? It was completely and totally unsustainable. So this wasn't a problem they could just hire their way out of. They needed to fundamentally rethink how the work got done. And that's when they turned to something they call an AI agent workforce. So what is an agentic workforce? It's a cool term, but what does it mean? Well, it's not just a simple chatbot. Think of it more like a team of specialized AI agents, where each one is built to handle a specific, high-volume, repetitive business task. And the goal here isn't to replace people, but to totally amplify what the human team is capable of doing. So let's meet the new team members, shall we? First up, you've got the athlete support agent. Its job? Handle all the Q&A 24/7 through text and email. Then there's the Sentiment Analyst Agent, which scraped and analyzed all those thousands of social media comments. And finally, the Content Review Agent, which automatically checked every single post for brand compliance before it went live. Each one had a crystal clear job, and get this, they were up and running in under 4 weeks. All right, so they built this AI team. That's the setup. But the real question is, did it actually work? Well, let's head over to the scoreboard and check out the results. Because the transformation was, and I'm not exaggerating, immediate and incredibly dramatic. Okay, let's start with athlete support. Before, you had 3 staff members who were totally overwhelmed, struggling to keep up with just under 3,000 messages a month. After the AI agent came on board, that one agent handled over 12,000 inquiries a month, around the clock. And the average first response time? Under 45 seconds. That is a 4x increase in capacity, just like that. Now, check out the sentiment analysis. What used to take a human team 5 full days of mind-numbing manual review, well, the AI agent now does that same work in less than 3 hours. That's a staggering 95% reduction in the time it took to get those crucial reports over to their brand partners. And here's where it all comes together, the actual business impact. The human team had hit that hard ceiling, right? They could handle maybe 10 campaigns at once, max. With the agentic workforce, they could suddenly support 5 times that number of campaigns, all without adding a single new person to the payroll. They didn't just break through their scaling wall, they absolutely demolished it. And hey, you don't have to just take my word for it. The CEO of Postgame, Bill Jula, said it himself. He said they would never have been able to scale their operations with that kind of confidence without these AI tools. That's a pretty powerful statement coming straight from the top. So what does this all add up to in human terms? Well, the extra capacity created by these AI agents is basically the equivalent of hiring 8 to 10 new full-time employees. And this freed up their human team to focus on the really high-value work, like building relationships with the big sponsors. Look, this is a fantastic case study, but what does it actually mean for you? Let's try and turn post-game success into a simple, actionable playbook with some key lessons for anyone who's even thinking about using AI in their own work.
The lessons are actually super simple, but really powerful. First, start smart. Don't try to solve every problem at once. Just target your single biggest, most repetitive pain point first. Second, replicate. Once you figure out a solution that works, turn it into a template so you can scale that success quickly across the board. And third, and this is crucial, always keep a human in the loop. Let your team shadow the AI at first to build trust, make corrections, and help it learn on the job.
When you really boil it all down, Postgame Story shows this fundamental shift in how work can get done. They moved from operations that were human-bound, literally limited by the number of hours in a day, to a new model that's AI amplified, where technology basically multiplies the impact of every single person on the team. And that really just leaves us with one final question for you to think about. Look at your own work, your own company. What's that one big human-bound process that's holding you back? And how could it be AI amplified? Thanks for tuning in.